Into a very exciting part of this event. We're going to see real companies. We've been speaking about ESG, sustainability, and all these wonderful concepts, but we haven't seen the pudding. This is the pudding. The first company that we're going to see today is called 3RT Smart Gold Holdings Inc. For all transparency, I am in the board of directors of this company, was invited, and the reason why I accepted the invitation is because these guys are ESG. They're truly ESG, they have a plan for it, and they're going to execute it. So, George, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Gustavo, and also very much thank you to Ahmed for hosting us today, and also Anna as well for also hosting us today. So I'll start with the most boring part of the presentation myself. I'm a former investment banker of 11 years. Most recently, I was at Lazard. So I'm a banker like Gustavo. And last year, I came across 3RP as I was looking at various opportunities to invest in. And what we are a gold exploration company in Western Canada. And we're basically, I'll jump to this page directly. So we are part of the supply of gold in terms of the mining sector. So probably what you guys are asking for is how basically mining or gold supply companies at an ESG conference. So as Gustavo mentioned, ESG is very core to us. And we are not only practicing on a day-to-day basis, but what makes it sustainable, and part of our ethos is that, as an earlier speaker mentioned, we're here to obviously make money, and our monetization solutions also are very much tied to ESG and tied to also refining and adjusting the mining sector approach to the problem of
George, sorry, look at that.
Oh, sure. Can everybody hear me or yeah. That's fine. Okay. So, how are we ESG, and how is it part of our basically day-to-day mantra, and how is it part of our future as well? So firstly, we are one of the most progressive countries in the world for ESG. So we are in Canada, which has one of the most strict and rigid regulations for not only ESG in general, but also in the mining sector. We have to basically get environmental bonds, we have to tie to environmental regulations and the like. And so we are very much one of the best countries for oversight in this regard. Also, as part of our exploration work, we're very thoughtful with which partnerships we pursue, which geologists do we partner with. And we're actually partnering with one of the best firms in this regard in the industry, a firm called Roma Group, which is a publicly listed company in Hong Kong, and they actually have the highest score for ESG. They specialize in ESG itself, and they actually keep us always to our checklist and the like, and they've actually given us one of the highest scores in ESG in the sector. We actually score very highly in all our public reporting as well. So we're fully compliant with environmental regulations, including adhering to the various local and also partnership regulations as well. We are where we are in Canada, so we own about 80 square kilometers of assets, thanks to our local relationships and our local communities that we have very, very strong relationships with. The indigenous population who we developed a very close. They're actually the ones guiding us to where there are gold and where there is, the most productive and highest yielding gold claims in the region. So we have a very, very strong relationship with that. And they're very much part of our company. They're very much part of our strategy. And they're one of the reasons in our competitive advantages as well. We also, our mining practices and our exploration practices are also very much environmentally compliant. We always rehabilitate the samples. We're an exploration company, and basically what we do is we sample land around us, assess how much gold there is, and then basically report it as part of the estimate that we have in terms of reserve of gold. So we always basically comply with the high standard. We rehabilitate the land itself. We obviously manage water management to the high strictest standards, and we keep our infrastructure at a minimum. And basically, we build just enough to get to the site and back. I mean, if you actually see a picture of our site, it's just full of green trees. It's a very remote area of Canada. It's about an hour north of Vancouver by plane. And we keep the infrastructure there very, very light and the life. And we're basically a core strategy of gold mining companies as well. they're very much investing in ESG. If you actually go to every single website of every major gold exploration company, gold pub, and mining company, you see they're very, very high on sustainability. And basically, what we provide potentially is a solution in terms of how to monetize this in the most clean, environmentally conscious manner. As I mentioned earlier, if you go back, we are the first stage of the cycle. So in this stage, we basically prove our gold reserves. The next stage, we potentially can mine it, refine it, and distribute it. A lot of mining companies acquire us at the end of this stage to add them to add us, companies like ours, to their NAV, to their gold reserves itself. And it takes maybe years, if not decades, to potentially monetize. We basically are raising capital through the blockchain, and potentially this is a quicker, cleaner, and more efficient way of monetizing gold reserves by never having to unmine the gold. So it's especially a way to monetize before even having to produce it. And so that's what we are, 3RT. We basically offer an opportunity to invest in unmined gold reserves directly at its source, and basically enable monetization solution through that. So I gave some statistics before. So we have around 80 square kilometers of property. We're one of the most gold-rich areas of Canada, in Western Canada, British Columbia. We already have an estimate of at least 2.25 million ounces of gold on just a fraction of our properties, and potentially up to 5 million ounces. If you actually take the spot price of gold today, those are $1 billion worth of potential gold reserves. We have a very diverse set of claims as well. We have alluvial claims, which is closer to the surface, and mineral claims, which is deeper underground. And we're backed by very well capitalized and well resourced gold exploration companies who themselves actually have very high ESG scores. And what is our objective? As the objective, as I mentioned, is to get to the accreditation phase, which is what we call in Canada NI 43-101 reporting, which is the highest standard of reporting in the world. It's also one of our competitive advantages of being in Canada, that it's very regulated not only on the environmental side, but also on the reporting side as well. And so another part of, well, obviously what makes us, we feel that makes the solutions and the monetization solutions very sustainable is what's driving the price of gold at the moment. So you might have caught it, gold is now at nearly a record high at 2350. It actually is down from 2400. It has some more leg room to go. And it has to do with basically who's buying the gold. And most of the acquirers of gold are central banks. And they're looking basically to de-dollarize and diversify away from the dollar, and mainly from emerging markets. That basically they're the main consumers of gold itself, along obviously with retail players and consumers like all of us in this room. There's been a thought process and a exercise in the mining industry from all those public companies I mentioned earlier of potentially providing a store value of gold without having to mine it. And that's, as I mentioned, the cleanest version of gold exploration and gold mining. And there's basically, instead of selling physical gold to the likes of central banks or to investors looking to diversify their portfolios, you issue them a token backed by the gold reserves proven to the highest standard in Canadian law and international law. And basically, that is their note of safety. That is their diversification away from the dollar. That is their diversification of their investment portfolio, without having to do the long exercise of mining itself. So how do we make money out of this? So one of those solutions, there's obviously that I'll mention I'll dive into it shortly. There's all the traditional ways of listing, mining, and sale. But actually, what makes us very excited is the final part, this is strategic partnerships. It's actually finding those environmentally conscious way of editing, which is hopefully monetizing the reserves before even having to mine it. And actually, that's why we're very excited to have Gustavo on board to obviously enable us with that process. And we're not only leveraging his ESG knowledge, but also like-minded ventures like his. He has also other operations internationally and also in other parts of the world that we can potentially combine like-minded ventures like ours and potentially monetize in that manner. And I'll just tell you a story. Last week I met with a similar project in Mexico and also another project in Costa Rica. They're also trying to approach it in this manner, and they actually have access to ESG-minded investors in Silicon Valley who actually love this product and who are investing with the goal of never having to mine it and potentially monetizing it in that regard. So another benefit of ours is that we actually been raising capital just through equity investors. We have no debt from our capital structure, which enables us to actually make this sustainable in a long-term project. We don't have any debts. We're not looking to make any interest payments. Most of our investors are in it for 4 to 5 years. It's a private equity play, so we're not in a rush. We're looking to basically get this to fruition by potentially making money without even having to basically extract the gold from the ground. And also allows us to basically, if we were to sell the asset or to sell the properties to a mining company, we would want to make sure to do enough diligence on them to make sure that their ethos is eco-friendly and the like. And this is our team. We're just a team of 6 at the moment. Alex and Robert are principal geologists. They've been working for more than a decade. They have a lot of local relationships as well. As I mentioned, they kind of came out to Canada about a decade ago when the gold price wasn't as strong. And they've been able to acquire all these properties through those local relationships, as I mentioned. We're very also have a variety of experiences in our team, including former accountant, former asset management, folks in the industry. These are very obviously compliance-minded, ethical guys who obviously follow letter by the law. It's not only led by a banker like myself, but it's also led by folks who come from very rigid and compliant industries like asset management and accounting. And of course, we have Gustavo, who just joined the board a few weeks ago on our request. He's a very valued partner. I don't have to obviously introduce him to you guys, but he's obviously just in a few weeks added a ton of value, especially on the ESG front. And if anyone's interested, we're obviously happy to talk. Ultimately, we're here to make money. And we obviously think this potentially is a solution that can amend and revolutionize the way that these types of companies are financed. And we're looking for a raise of $10 million, of which we already raised $1 million. We're offering a diverse capital structure. All represents equity in our business. One of them is token-based, and the other one is obviously traditional equity in the business. And this is actually one of the most profitable times to invest in gold when it's at its source. And we're potentially, 5 to 10x return on a conservative basis over the next few years by pursuing one of those monetization strategies. I think I only had 10 minutes, so that's all I had, but happy to answer any questions thereafter.
Very short for being short as well. It's great. A nice short and sweet presentation. As you see, it's completely ESG related project, I would say. But the way to understand 3RT is very simple. Who here is familiar with USDT? The stable currency? You're familiar? Well, this is the equivalent of USDT, which is gold in the ground. Same thing. USDT stuck a whole bunch of dollars in a bank account in the US and said, this is a stable coin. They actually have the gold in the ground and they can say, this is a stable coin. It's actually a fantastic concept. You don't even need to touch the gold. So I encourage you to speak to George at lunchtime. This project is fascinating. Thank you, George, for being very clear as well. The next project, I'd like to tell you a little very short story. I'm a professional skier. I'm a ski guide for the blind for the last 20 years in Switzerland. And one of my best friends is also a skier by the name Pierre-André. This guy left Geneva and moved to the northern part of the Amazonian basin, where the closest place we will call civilization is 3 hours away by pirogue. That's the closest area. This is in the border between Peru and Brazil, up in the north, and Colombia. And he lives with the cannibals there. By the way, cannibals is too much of a word. They don't eat us, they don't like us, so it's okay. There's the different civilization. And he builds eco-lodges there that are inside the Amazonas, and he brings Europeans to be there for a week to understand what is the Amazonian basin. His objective is to preserve the land, the trees, and the environment for the cannibals. What he wants is that they don't need to move because some companies decided to chop all the trees and kill their environment. How would you feel if someone came to your neighborhood and just destroy all your houses and build something else there? Well, that's what's happening in the Amazon. So he invited me a year ago to spend the week with him and the cannibals. It was an incredible experience. Like, it's difficult to describe, to be there in the jungle with nothing, no electricity, water comes every night from rain. You eat whatever the cannibals hunt in the night, and they bring it to you in the morning. I spent a week with him there, with Pierre-André. And he said to me, Gustavo, I'd like to buy more land from the government so that I can protect this environment, I can protect the cannibals, and I can keep them the way they are. Because these ecologists are very, very eco, you know. They're not even, you don't even see them from the Amazonian River. And it took me a week, a real week, with him, the cannibals and the locals, to think. And at the end of the week, I said, how about if we do NFTs of the land, of the trees, and we sell the canopy as carbon credits to Emirates, Air France, Lufthansa, etc. Saying it is one thing. It's crazy what I thought. Doing it is very different. But 1 week later, when I came back here to this part of the world, I was invited to speak at the Vatican. The Pope organized a conference, and they asked me to speak about the transformation between the traditional economy and the new economy, Web3 finance. And the guy sitting right next to me was a guy that was doing or trying to do what I had imagined. I spoke to him. He said, great, it makes sense. Let's create this. 1 week later, I gave another conference here, and this man here, some student, fantastic guy, came to see me and said, I want to be part of this project. And I said, you really want to be part of this crazy thing? He said, yes. And together with the rest of the people in the Amazonian, in Singapore and here, they actually created Verde Whisper. This project is a reality right now. Sam will explain it to you in detail. It's a fantastic project, and you can hardly get more ESG than this man. Sam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Gustavo, and thanks, Ahmed, for this great event. I'm Sergei Ivanov, co-founder of World ESG Summit, and I'm 20. I just completed my bachelor's 3 weeks back. So what is World ESG Summit? What is this all about? We live in a world where people think that conservation is totally different from profits. If you want to make profits, you cut the trees, sell the timber. So World ESG Summit is an idea that have the trees and make profit by conserving it. So this is a vision, and I'd like to share with all the visionaries here. Before I speak with my words, I'll try to do it with a short video that will explain it in a better way.
This is actuality. Let's dive into the heart of the matter. Have you ever pondered about the destiny of the Amazon, the largest rainforest and biodiversity hub on our planet? Spread over an impressive 2.1 million square miles, this emerald powerhouse is responsible for 1/5 of our oxygen supply and absorbs significant amounts of carbon dioxide. However, deforestation, driven by logging and industrial farming, is relentlessly wiping out these crucial forests. This not only threatens species habitats and triggers climate irregularities, but also jeopardizes the indigenous communities who have been the custodians of these lands for centuries. But what if there was a way to change this? Now, what if we could safeguard the Amazon and support its native communities simultaneously? Actuality, together with Nomad Lodges, has put together a unique amalgamation of technology and environmental conservation, introducing Verde Whisper. Our innovative project will be tokenizing private Amazon rainforest land into NFTs. The funds raised from these NFTs will be directed towards tree conservation, ecotourism, sustainable forest farming, and helping the indigenous communities. Our model will benefit the environment, support sustainability, and provide earnings to the investors. We will be selling voluntary carbon credits after auditing tree canopies, adding value to the NFT holders. And that's not all we're doing. In addition to this, we plan to offer microfinancing, education, and other empowering services to the indigenous communities. With the potential for global expansion, becoming a stakeholder in our venture means playing a pivotal role in a thriving Amazon. To turn our vision into reality, Verde Whisper needs your support. We have set a target of $1 million, which will enable us to secure 96 hectares of Amazonian land so that we can conserve the trees on it. A portion of these funds will be used to advance our Web3 platform, the venture's digital backbone that streamlines our mission. The remaining resources will drive the development of ecotourism and help indigenous communities, forest farming and sustainable activities. And this is just the beginning. Verde Whisper's long-term plan is to expand this model throughout the Amazon and thereby amplifying our business globally. Your support is more than just a business transaction. It is a vital investment in our planet and the future of the Amazon. The faith
Can you play from that moment?
This is actuality. Let's dive into the heart of the matter. Have you ever pondered about the destiny of the Amazon, the largest rainforest and biodiversity hub on our planet, spread over an impressive 2.1 million square miles? This powerhouse is responsible for a fifth of our...
All right.
Okay, that's fine.
Perhaps you can just go for the presentation.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Our world faces unprecedented challenges, and I'll be talking about three important challenges. The first is climate change. All the presentation and all the speakers, directly or indirectly, talked about climate change. The second one is resource depletion. As His Excellency was talking about, all the nations are fighting about resources because it's all and always about the resources. And the third one is social inequality. So here we are at Verde Whisper with an idea and with a solution to address all these issues all at once. First one is the greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases are the reason for global warming and the reason for the severe climate change that you're facing right now. Few years back, when someone talks about climate change, we thought that it's just a buzzword. But right now, or a few weeks back, we faced it in Dubai. We all know that this is something that's real, and we are now facing its effects. So we keep climate change on one side. Now we move to the other side, that is the lungs of our Mother Earth, the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest is shrinking, and we all think when we say that the Amazon rainforest is shrinking, we think that it's due to illegal activities. We think that it's due to illegal logging, but it's not. It's due to legal logging and legal farming. What happens in the Amazon is there are two big players over there in the Amazon. The one is the logging companies, the big logging companies, the giant ones. And the second one is the commercial farming companies, mostly the guys who produce soy. And there are some parts of land, the forest land in Amazon, that are owned by the private entities. When these private entities put this piece of land into the market, there is a real estate market. That's a real estate market where two big players, maybe the logging companies and the farming companies, compete to purchase the land. And once they purchase the land, they chop off all the trees and then they do whatever they are intended to do. So here we are contesting with them in the real estate market to conserve it. And right now there's another fact here. 20% of the Amazon is vanished. So, and the tipping point proposed by many scientists is 25. Because if we reach the 25%, then when I'm of Gustavo's age, I won't be able to breathe as freely as he breathes. I have to carry an oxygen cylinder on my back. Because a few years ago, we never thought that we'd be wearing masks. But in 2019, we saw it. This is something real. This is not a static kind of thing. This is our day-to-day life. And the future generation has to come up with innovative ideas rather than just going in the streets and protesting. And the second and the last one, social inequality. Social inequality. I'm sitting here comfortable in a air-conditioned room, but the people who really protecting the forest or the indigenous people, because for these people, it's their home, and who doesn't want to protect their home? So these people are involuntarily thrown out of the forest because they don't own it. They are just settled over there for generations and generations, and they live all together, all the generations. And these people are the most, if I'm being very honest, these people are the most efficient human beings because they constitute just 5% of the population and manage 25% of the Earth's total surface. I'm happy to introduce that we, myself, Gustavo, and some other companies together, 2 companies, formed an initiative known as World ESG Summit. World ESG Summit is not something that we are doing it from scratch. We are a partnership between the existing entities. First one is sexuality, and then it's nomad lodges, and then the other key stakeholders. A short thing about sexuality. Sexuality, the person who Gustavo mentioned, whom we met at the Vatican, sexuality is a tech company that's fighting against climate change to revolutionize the lifestyle of people. And then the most important part is nomad lodges. If you have an Instagram, kindly do check out their Instagram page. It's called Nomad Lodges. I promise you this is something everyone wants to visit at least once in their lifetime. Nomad Lodges is a paradise in this earth. This is a lifestyle where you live along with the people, also we being civilized and they being uncivilized. It's where these both ends meet together and they coexist. And coming back to our business plan, we are not an NGO, we are a for-profit business because we want to convey to the world that conservation and profit should coexist, and they can coexist. And how can they coexist? That's what I whisper. We came up with a business model. We tried to grab every end of all other business models and put all together in a single sheet. What all business can we do profitably from the Amazon and sustainably? That's more important without degrading the forest. We came up with 4 revenue streams. The first one is the NFT sales. We purchase the land because if we don't do it, then the other players will do. And we create NFTs and sell it in the market. And then the ecotourism. We are trying to promote ecotourism because government and other private investors are showing much greater interest in it. And we want to educate the future generations that there are human beings, there's other side to this civilized world that we are not exposed to. And then it's carbon credits. The reason why I'm speaking about carbon credits as my third point is, let's be very honest, carbon credits are full of scam. Everybody thinks it's greenwashing. Everybody thinks that it's something unreliable, but it needs to be regulated. And we are doing it in a much regulated way, which I'll be talking later. And then we have sustainable farming. The reason for sustainable farming is, who doesn't want to buy a cabbage that was grown in Amazon? It's a high way to market it. So from the perspective of business, it's a highly profitable one, the sustainable farming. And also these people in the Amazon, the nomad people, they have a slash and burn agriculture where they themselves clear the forest and then do basic cultivation on it. And a helping hand doesn't stop right there. We also provide education for the people. It's happening. The Nomad Lodges is providing education to the children over there. And then we plan to, I have a license in insurance, and we are planning to do micro insurance, and Gustavo is a banker. So we are also trying to do microfinance. The land. If we are like, if I can come here and say we are purchasing the Amazon for good. I can purchase any Amazon. Like we have seen in the video, there are some patches of Amazon with no trees on it. But we strategically choose for a piece of land that we want to buy, and that's our highlight. We don't buy any part of Amazon just for the sake that we are protecting the Amazon. We have 2 methods to purchase the land. First one, we see if it's threatened. If it's threatened, we try to get into it, negotiate and purchase it. The second one, if it's ecologically and biodiversity important. Because the Amazon is important, and there are some pieces of Amazon, some parts of Amazon which are very much important. The needs are held right now. And we have identified this part of Amazon, this 100 hectares, 96 hectares to be precise. What's so special about it? You may ask me. This is the strand. We are trying to purchase this and create a natural reserve because this connects the highland ecosystem and the floodplain ecosystem. If any other players other than us gets into the market and purchase this, then the animals from this floodplain ecosystem won't be able to migrate to the highland ecosystem and vice versa. When migration is affected, then the whole ecosystem is affected. And for the other facts, what all do we have? We have more than 100 species and They're just some numbers, which we all know that Amazon is so biodiversity wise it's diverse, and we also are legal. We plan to do legal registration with the IUCN. It's by the United Nations, and then carbon credits. We are not issuing carbon credits by the traditional way, but we are issuing carbon credits using blockchain. And why blockchain? Because our carbon credits are audited. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention it. Our carbon credits are audited by the Verified Carbon Standard Program, which is one of the world's most reliable programs existing right now. And we are back, and all this process is backed up by blockchain technology, because blockchain is nothing but a ledger. Every step of the process will be into the blockchain, and people can verify it. And we can only sell carbon credits up to the limit what the Verified Carbon Standard Program has allowed us to. So this also helps not to get into any fraud or greenwashing. How do we use this million? We have Warren Moon, who is a certified financial analyst, and we came up with this allocation. How are we going to put our 1 million strategically? We are investing 15% in land acquisition, and you may ask why 15%? Because one, we have a lot of land to purchase, because if we do all the purchase right now, then we don't have a platform to promote it. So we need to work on the promotion part first. We need to create our own Web3 platform where we do our own minting, our own NFTs, and we need to have control over the whole process. And then we plan for the eco and sustainable farming, because for our investors, we want to produce profits, because everyone is here for profits. That's the truth. So in order to generate profits, we have to rely on something that's firm, that produces income right now. Carbon credits is not going to produce us income right now because it needs to be audited. But ecotourism is something that's happening right now, and it can produce a significant amount of income right now. And the timeline. As His Excellency told, many projects here take 10 to 15 years. Many impact investing, and that's the hardest, because when we talk about regenerative forest, you just plant trees, you wait for 10 years, 15 years for it to grow, and then make all this happen. But here, we are protecting the trees from deforestation, and our maximum estimated time is 2 years for our phase 1. I'm here right now, seed funding for our phase 1. Our phase 1 is this 96 hectares of land, which will be protected, and we have also identified 17 such hotspots all throughout the Amazon, and this will be our phase 1. In this phase 1, the maximum time that we have estimated is 2 years. You may ask, how is that possible? Because we are already in partnership with existing entities which are operating there. We just need the funds to come into place. This is our financial forecast. Although we can do any business that can give us profits, but right now we are on a conservative scale of 5 to 20% in the first 5 years, but the financial returns are much greater, because when we talk about Nomad Dodgers, Priyanka told us that we can go for 20% in the first couple of years, but then we don't know. Let's keep it conservative. We just want our investors to know that this is more than finance. This is more than a financial transaction, and this is where we protect nature and where we make profits at the same time. Social and environmental impact. Right now, we are working with 22 native communities to eliminate 1.5 tons of plastic and other non-organic materials every year. And we are focusing on 3 sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goal 13, climate action. That's our first priority. 15, life on land. And 11, sustainable cities and communities. As we are building eco-lodges there, that's something we are already on. This is more than a market opportunity. You may ask me, what is the market for this? We have immense amount of carbon dioxide to be fixed. That's what World ESG can never do. We as a company or we as a foundation, we can never do that, because there are more and more of carbon dioxide to be fixed. So there's always a market for this. We are here with the slogan to the private investors and to the big corporate companies that a greener world equates better corporate earnings. We can only reach another step of economic development only when we save the forest, when we save Mother Nature. When everything is gone, what will we be make profits from? Are we going to go to the Mars and dig from them, making profits out of the minerals from Mars or Moon? That's not going to happen. This is our home and we have to protect it profitably. And I'd like to introduce our team. This is Gustavo. He's the chairman of Carter Capital and he doesn't need any introduction. And this is Fionde, the person who left all of us, all this civilization, to live with the native people. If you want to meet him, you want to take a small canoe, and like Gustavo, you have to travel 3 kilometers, 3 hours of north, deep into the jungle to meet him. And that's myself, and the youngest one here. And then that's Warren Moon, the certified CFA, and he is the CEO of Actuality. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you do me a favor? Could you take a very big... You had that? Well, that's because of the Amazonas. If we didn't have the Amazonas, we couldn't be able to do it. And as Sam said, in probably 40 years from now, at this rate, when I ask you to do the same thing, you're going to take your masks out and try to do it with masks. That's why this is very important. So on 3RT and Veritable Whisper, you have 2 incredible projects in ESG. Suggest that you speak to them at lunchtime and support them. They need your support. Thank you very much, Sam, for that presentation. So now we have a discussion on sustainability and financing, Green Wave Funding presentation by His Excellency Zulfiquar. Is that correct?
It's more like I'm good. I see that I meet a lot of entrepreneurs seeking investments and financing for projects, and I'm very happy to see that the focus has shifted completely from just pure money making to hardcore impact. It's very nice to see. I mean, that's one transition we all have seen. All our seasoned investors, including Gustavo here, all of us, you all have seen that people always came with the concept of money making and profits. Now people come with the concept and highlighting the ESG components of every project. Yes, we are investors, based on all of you, of course, but I think if I consider all the projects that require urgent attention, as David was mentioning, that we all need almost $9 trillion to fix this earth. And we barely have $2.9 or $3 trillion, I guess. So we're short of $6 trillion. So I'm happy to see that we took this initiative. This was during COVID that me and my colleague, Dr. Steven, we would sit down by the JBR, that's where I live. Ahmed also, we will sit together and think about how can we assist this world. And that's when the idea of providing access to people, sustainable financing, because all my life, since I've been in the UAE, all my career, I've always been a platform. And we realized what better platform than the Royal Office in Abu Dhabi. There are projects, there is money, but how do we bring people together? So we decided to create, apart from many platforms that we created, one such platform is Green Wave Funding. Green Wave Funding decided to focus on 4 most critical things, starting with green bonds, which helps with regenerative agriculture, sustainable farming, agroforestry, carbon sequestering, and also mangroves, which are very important to us. Then comes what we're doing, sustainability bonds for the projects which helps companies to move towards sustainable raw material supply chain and stuff like that. Then comes social bonds, which are, let's say you're building an airport in your community. An airport is a hardcore infrastructure project which produces a lot of carbon. Or a large real estate project, for example, a community building. We need housing, right? We need housing. We need to create mainstreaming of population by bringing them into commercial activities. Now, we cannot just not do those just because they are bad for the climate, but we have to do it in a sustainable manner. I don't agree with the word conservation. I hate that word. I believe we need to do sustainable farming or sustainable forest. For example, one such initiative I'm part of, again, it's in Canada, in British Columbia. That project, what it does is it starts chopping the trees from here, and by the time it comes here, the first tree will be available again. So, and that all that wood is used for carbon negative construction. So I don't believe in conservation, I believe in sustainability around it. So that, what is sustainability? What are we worried about? A, climate change is a big issue, yes. But most importantly, we want to keep the resources as we got it. And we want to leave the same earth for our planet and for our people and our future generation, of course. So coming back to the different ways of funding, just to give an example, Anna nicely mentioned about blue economy. I could think of in the last 3 months, we financed 2 projects. One is sustainable yachting. As you all know, we all enjoy yachts, of course. I love my yacht parties. But that industry has to become sustainable. So we financed $50 million towards sustainable yachting. And also, aquaculture is the most important thing. Aquaculture meaning, for example, to convert sand into soil, to create the whole ecosystem in the soil, in the sand, so that it becomes soil, as you see all greenery around Abu Dhabi and Dubai these days. So it's all the result of the concentrated aquaculture that is happening using various technologies. One of the biggest project of Africa was backed by our company just the last 2 weeks back in Morocco. So we're doing it in a very advanced stage, and we are. So whatever Anna was saying, I was like, yes, we're doing it. So I'll be very honest with you. Sustainable investing looks like a very difficult task for me if you're looking at investors for your sustainability projects. The problem with that, the small ticket sizes, the big boys are not interested in small ticket sizes. Small ticket sizes are normally done by mercenary investors. And you need a missionary investor. Sorry, I always use this term, mercenary versus missionary. Mercenaries are the ones who want results and exit within 3 to 5 years. Missionaries are the ones who will stay with you for a longer term. I am a missionary, but my extent is very large. If Ellen came to me and said $1 billion, I'll make it $100 billion, then talk to me. But that's our outlay. That's how we work. Now, I know that I don't have that much of money to invest, but there's a lot of ESG allocation with various financial institutions, hedge funds. I don't know, they're going to be in history soon, I'm sure, given where it is going. But yes, financial institutions, banks, philanthropies, all of them have understood that they need to be very sophisticated in terms of their deployment of financing. It has to also take in mind that the entrepreneur has to design the returns, the expected ROIs in such a way that it's clearly visible. And if it can be done via bonds, I'm a big fan of bonds, to be honest. In fact, I'm very much in a very advanced stage with Abu Dhabi government to provide us a platform to raise green exchange, where we can raise green bonds out of Abu Dhabi. What better than Abu Dhabi? Currently, there are only 2 places, I think. It's Luxembourg and Singapore. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we are very much pushing Abu Dhabi. We inshallah will very soon. But Bermuda is our partner, Bermuda Exchange. BFS, the Cayman Richards is on our board as well, and we are funding. And we are very serious about it. We've done more than $120 billion of deployment. Currently, if you ask my project sectors, then I would say we are doing airports, we are doing sustainable communities, we are doing, in Caribbean islands, we are promoting sustainable tourism development. But that's the only way to mainstream people and bring economies and bring jobs. We are doing housing project in Africa. We are doing soil conservation and aquaculture in North Africa, I would say. In India, we're doing some large-scale community developments, but again, absolutely carbon negative projects using wood and other natural elements in good symphony and harmony with each other. We're doing in Indonesia, we're doing a plant for helping farms and the mining industry to not focus on just depleting resources, but create better usage of their land. My quick toolbar on the sustainable goal. It's a great idea. I think this definitely makes sense. On Evan, I would say just make it much bigger and larger. And trust me, 100 hectares is not going to solve the Amazon problem. Perhaps you may explore public-private partnership there, where you come in and bring in the government involvement. Because unless and until the government of Brazil shows seriousness, and I've had several rounds of discussion with Bolsonaro and now Lula, I've had several rounds of discussion. In fact, Brazil also is in touch with me on various levels. The point I'm trying to make is there's a wonderful opportunity to explore and achieve financial closure, not chasing investors, but by the way of institutional financing. And if you have any such ideas or requirements, please be in touch with me, and I will be very happy to assist you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Let's keep that way.
Okay, so just coming to the end of this section of the program, we have a waste management rewarding presentation, real world business case, BANTgo Sergei Ivanov. Before I call Sergei in, I'm just going to say, in order that we have an early lunch, we're going to just do without the coffee break. We're going to go straight to the end. I think we don't need another coffee break right now. And then after this presentation, Alexandra will replace me. Sergei, the floor is yours. Thank you.
First of all, let me a little bit break existing dress code, because now we're talking about startups. I'm presenting a startup. My name is Sergei, and co-founder of company BANTgo, which launched impact platform. And today I want to provide some example of real case then technologies and business model can increase ESG metrics of our own life with increasing efficiency of waste management and recycling, but not in like global level, in our common life for each of us. And second thing that I want to figure out today is some insights that we are faced with impact investing accordingly shareholder rules. One of the keys that we faced and some insights we get from this. So, as a usual person, as a father of 3 children, as a digital nomad, I face the problem. I have all gadgets, and they almost asking me, please recycle us. We are enough available in small amount, a lot of precious materials, rare materials, and other valuable things. And if in case, if you are put us in the usual level, we became hazardous waste. Please recycle it. But where? How have to do it? Imagine your life. They are all recycling needs that you face in your life. You can realize through Uber or service like Uber, which provide your ability to find collection point recycling services in any country or at any continent. This service leads you to recycling opportunities, guide you to this, reward you for this sustainable behavior, and monetize your rewards with the best deals on goods and services. So, welcome to the future of recycling in our life, impact on platform, which leads us to go make waste, not waste. We are trying to solve this problem modern technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain. We see that AI and blockchain can return to this industry more than $50 billion in lost value. Artificial intelligence provides the ability to increase efficiency of waste management and recycling by reducing numbers of errors in process, attracting more people on this process, and so on. Blockchain provide traceability and accountability, make it transparent, all process on all steps, and also protect anti-fraud things. Also, what we face, like talk about greenwashing and so on. So blockchain provides this ability to solve it. According to our vision, we create solution which will provide ability change intention, implement intention into action, and action into real results. Now it works for more than 300 users, which recycle every month more than 100 kilos of e-waste. And we are small, we are a startup, so future's coming.
Using technologies, we guide people to and motivate them to use recycling abilities, make it very easy and judgeable and rewardable for them. So, for example, we not use application. All interaction you can find through usual messenger, chatbot and messenger, like this. Through easy 5 steps, you can get your coupon. Technologically, it's NFT, but don't care about it. For you, it's ability to change this coupon for discounts on different goods and services, or top up your accounts with Kareem, Noon, telecom providers, or utility providers. It's your reward for your sustainable behavior every time, every act. As a basis, we're using marketplace business model. We attract B2C traffic cheaper and then sell this traffic to our business clients to make their deals and pitch their sales. Our stream of revenue based on subscription and transaction fees from marketplace vendors. Very easy. Now, also we are on the startup, we start building ecosystem. This model and power of technologies can be used to increase their ESG metrics for individuals, for communities, and for enterprises. In one place. For this purpose, now we're testing B2C clients, for example, e-vapers, gamers, millennial parents, digital nomads, pets owners as well. And for that, it's a gate to world that they can change their sustainable acts to real assets and real rewards. For B2B clients, they use our marketplace to attract this new stream of conscious customers and retain them. We started January of 2022, and by this time we get enough remarkable achievements, achieve some milestones. At the first slide, you saw some markets leaders. The was support we appreciate very much. But now I want to stop by case with investment. Our pre-seed lead investor, it's local, and one of his requests was coming through Sharia compliance. Imagine, we are newcomers on this place. We're not familiar with Islamic culture. And for us, for our team, it looks like a big challenge, like possible restrictions for business. So the count is like very hard situation. But it's turning out not so be so. First of all, what we figure out after when we saw Sharia compliance. Around us, almost 2 billion Muslims. They try to build their life according to Sharia rules. But also they want to use modern technologies and modern services. But not always they sure about their Sharia compliance. So it's mean that if you build your business using technologies accordingly Sharia rules, it's open gates for this auditory for businesses and for investors. One of the things. And yeah. Something went wrong.
Is it? Hello.
Okay. This is opportunity. We launched our business. We achieved milestones. You see some here. And first of all, using this opportunity, we make this idea Uber for recycling live here in Dubai. Now it works. Okay. I'm proud of my team who made this in reality. You see, they're really diversified team, and it's showing how it works. And in that turn, said Uber for recycling in Emirates and globally, made it easy, rewardable, and profitable. So I welcome you to include in our movement, and let's make best waste it together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergei, and thank you for presenting BANTgo. Our next speaker is Faisal Zaidi. Please give a hand of applause to Faisal, and he will be presenting the green block.
Well, first, thank you, Ahmed, for having us. I am one of the co-founders and the CMO of Crypto Oasis, the regional ecosystem for blockchain and Web3. And over time, we've seen that we've had to diversify our ecosystem in a way that each and every different niche has a place to be. So we did this for art, we did this for institutions, and then last year, because of the regional focus on ESG, we created the Green Block, which is now focused on Web3 and AI in ESG. There's a short video after this that should give you a slight idea on something that we've been really good as Crypto Oasis is by creating a space where institutions, startups, investors, all of them can come together and have a conversation. And so far, we've been successful enough to be able to work with governments, projects, startups, associations, news, media, investors to make sure that there is a conversation happening. Like we've just heard from 3 startups right now. BANTgo, we've been having a conversation with these guys for a while. The difficulty is the adoption comes a little bit later. First is building, and the problem with building is you need the larger institutions to come in if you want to make a difference. If you want to make money, you can start small. But if you want to actually make a difference, you need to get the bigger players on board. And what we've done with the Green Block is we're focusing on the 3 aspects of traceability, transparency, and trust, which is why it's Web3 focused. And when we're looking, I'm going to go over, this is a little bit too much of text, but these are the 3 categories that we're focusing on. We're looking at helping projects deploying capital, so connecting them with investors, sponsorships, public fundings. We're working with several blockchains, so you can even push them as far as getting grants. Enabling infrastructure, so connecting them with regulators, with communities. We're doing regular events about the Green Block, and we've had people from as far as the UN. We've worked with projects that are actually doing exactly what you're doing at Amazonia. They've already started pushing out their NFTs and helping them communicate this in the right way. Empowering talent, people such as yourselves that are working on startups by making sure they get the right exposure. This is exactly what Ahmed's doing over here as well, making sure that the projects and even projects like ours get the right exposure and they're seen by the right people. This was our roadmap for last year that we completed. From the inception to COP28, where we had a really large event in partnership with the UN. And we were at the World Economic Forum in January this year, and we published the Green Block Report. I'll come to the Green Block Report in a second. This is the leadership. I am one of the initiators, and on our steering committee, we've got Pierre, who's one of the partners at Roland Berger, and we've got Paolo Tosca, who's the co-founder and CEO of the DLT Science Foundation, with the Distributed Ledger Science Foundation, and they've done a lot in order to help with grants for projects that are coming up and actually fit their bill. This is our advisory council. We've got Khaled, the group CEO of BIA. We've got Brittany Kaiser. You might know her from the Cambridge Analytics leak, and Paolo Tosca. We've got Dr. Philip Rusler, who is the ex-managing director of the World Economic Forum, and Aleksei Hefti, chairman of the other group, and Navid, who is the vice president at E.ON. So this is how we focus. We're looking at flagship conferences, we're looking at exhibitions, we're looking at industry demo days for projects, and at the end of it, awards so that we can award the people that are actually making a difference in the industry. We've got different ways that projects can be a part of the Green Block. We've got patrons. I'll show you the ones that we have on board right now. You can come in as a partner, as a project, and a proponent, which is as a member. Right now, as patrons, we were very happy to have the likes of BIA, E.ON, BMW, and Siemens on board. And like I said, so we are one of the initiators of the project with the DLT Science Foundation and Roland Berger. Now, I have a video. Roland Berger and BIA to come together and create a project which is the public recycling credits, to set a standard and a marketplace where recycling credits, now those could be from BANTgo, those could be from the Amazon, so one marketplace where all of these things can be sold. Just a few images from the report, where we've even taken the global map and looked at ESG companies in Web3 and AI and listed them out for people that are interested in getting to know what's actually happening in the space. We've had articles in this from the following companies. BIA, we were very happy to get the CEO of BIA to actually write in the report, from the Sustainable Bitcoin Protocol guys, Chainalysis, Impact Scope, Senkin, and some of them are actually talking about really impactful stuff. So I would, ask you to download the report. Now, when I'm speaking about, so these are just some of the topics that were covered in the report for those interested. Now, being able to put some of these companies together, like BIA, E.ON, and ICP, the good thing is you're not actually waiting for someone to come and start using it. BIA is one of the largest sustainability companies over here, so the fact that they've gone in and taken this initiative make sure that they're going to start using it. And for smaller organizations, it just becomes a little bit easier to step into line and start using those as well. So as the Green Bloc, what we're focusing on is to give each and every one of the players a space where they can have a conversation, and we help push that forward as much as we can. This is the QR code to download the report, and for any other information, you can contact me directly, or all of you know I'm fine.
And you have a link as well on the website related to the report, so you can tap into it.
Thank you, Faisal. Okay, our next speaker, very exciting, C3. So 3 C's. Companies creating change. Please welcome Kevin Holiday.
Thank you, everyone. So I wanted to talk a little bit about C3, Companies Creating Change. Ultimately, we're an enabler in the ecosystem. We are an accredited social enterprise, and we help early stage aspiring entrepreneurs to drive systemic change through unlocking various different initiatives when it comes to environmental or societal related challenges. We really believe in our mission is to put the best possible use to business and really fight and get great at solving the world's pressing challenges. We have the accreditation from the UK of the Social Enterprise Mark, which helps us significantly drive the founder's mission. So we really support on the ground activity when it comes to innovation and uncovering really sustainable solutions. We're recognised by the UN SDGs for partnerships of the goals. And last year, 2022, we were the winner of the Gulf Sustainability Awards here in the region. So how do we do this? We ultimately partner with either large corporates or governments to really design initiatives when it comes to impact solutions. So that can be anything from upskilling when it comes to youth development or helping underserved communities. We design incubators, accelerator programs for mission-driven founders. We also create an investor readiness product where we're able to get fit for funding and profit with a purpose-driven companies that we've spoken a lot about today. And really also when it comes to creating challenge-focused initiatives, whether that can be through hackathons or initiatives to drive entrepreneurship within large organizations. And then custom designing hubs, so really bringing together everything when it comes to all of the initiatives I've mentioned. So over the last couple of years, 10 in fact, we've been around, but we've driven more change through the Middle East and Africa when it comes to designing programs with Google, Engie, the French energy company, DMCC, the free zone here in the UAE, Emirates Global Aluminium. So really, it's really combining that corporate element of bringing together the private and public sectors together through an entrepreneurship lens. So there are many benefits for us and the organisations that we try to help and support with their strategic objectives, really to drive that internal innovation and really giving and instilling the entrepreneurship mindset within organisations. Having personally worked in large corporates, multinationals and family businesses, there is a lack of a gap that can be really filled by some of these amazing innovative solutions that we've seen many today. Really that impactful reputation, as we mentioned again, the purpose element and driving purpose, not just employees internally, but also the ecosystem as a whole, and identifying those latest technologies, accelerating economic growth, and providing pipelines for obviously investment opportunities when it comes to investing into these solutions. And for us, it's really important we connect the dots when it comes to governments, startups and corporates. So, as I mentioned, we've been around for 10 years. We cover around 71 different countries with our startups. We have 2,500 founders in our network, around 4,000 amazing experts that give up their time to dedicate to these amazing solutions and helping them, whether that be through mentorship, one-on-one, or training and solutions. We have accelerated around 270 startups in the last 4 years, and we have active relationships with over 150 investors across the different elements when it comes to mechanisms for investing, whether that is VC, angels, social impact bonds, green bonds. We're very familiar on how we can actually support the ecosystem and the community to get funded and there's some recent media coverage of some of our key programs, as I mentioned. What we are extremely proud of are these statistics. So we ultimately, over the last 4 years, as I mentioned, went through various different programs. The alumni have gone on to raise 500 million since 2021, and these guys are really incredible solutions and very investor friendly when it comes to looking at profit with a purpose. An incredible 95% of them are operational, so there was only literally a handful that have actually fallen by the wayside. And this was really down to the resilience that these founders really demonstrate, where they want to be able to actually not just create investable solutions, but also give back to their end beneficiaries. So we spend a lot of time training on impact, ESG, as well as that investor angle, because it is important that you are trying to address your end beneficiaries when it comes to developing theory of change and looking at impact measurement in the long term. So for us, it's really, really important. All the 17 UN SDGs are covered by our startups. An incredible, almost 1/3 are female-led. Again, a big part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion within our programs is that we give a platform for anyone that is able to drive change through the ecosystem. And a few examples on the bottom, and I'll raise a couple here. Desert Control, you may be familiar with. We're based here in 2018, came through our program at a very early stage. Last year went through an IPO listing on the Norwegian Stock Exchange. They basically take unfertile land in the desert. They use their technology. It's a magical spray which makes the soil become fertile within 7 hours to grow crops. Another one I'll point out is One Motor, our last mile electrification of bikes in this region, as well as other parts of the region, the globe. So they've really tried to push, and they've raised significant amounts. So these are a couple that we're extremely proud of. That was very quick, but ultimately I wanted to just give you a little bit of flavour to what we do. We are here based in the UAE, servicing now the globe, because the interest has been phenomenal over the last few years about our programs. We get a huge amount of applications to our programs from 50 different countries, the last intake for one of our impact accelerators. And the reason why we are able to do this is because we are very driven by the founder's mission to help and support by building that community. And that's where our independence stays very true to the core mission that we do. So please feel free to reach out to me or grab me afterwards. I'd love to be able to speak to each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, so our next dearest speaker is Fiber Broke, talking about Unidroid, carbon credits regulation. Please welcome, please give hand of applause.
Hello to everyone. So probably it's quite difficult to be a lawyer, to speak about legal issues at the end of the conference already. So I will try to do my best. So I'm an honorary member of the UNIDROIT, which is the international intergovernmental organization, which deals with the adoption of the international legal instruments like conventions, model laws to facilitate international trade. It was established in 1939 after the First World War in order to come all the countries together and to build the economies. So in last years, mostly we are working in adoption all kinds of international conventions in capital markets. And the latest our product, which we are proud to was released last year. It was adopted 12th May 2023. It was the UNIDROIT Principles on Digital Assets and Private Law. So, again, talking about today, so I wanted to start this presentation with a quote of Robert Swan, who is saying, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." And it's all about ourselves, how we approach these so important topics we discussed already today on everyday basis. We always think, that I'm only librarian, I'm only like a financial market specialist, I'm only a teacher, I do my stuff, teaching kids or reading books or whatever. But actually, everyone matters what we are doing. So it's all about the mission and concept. And Robert Swan, if you don't know who he is, he's a very famous British geologist, and he is the first person who by foot actually went through the North Pole and South Pole. So he's a very inspiring person. Talking about the unit one. So since we experienced very good, actually had very good expertise and experience drafting these principles on digital assets in private law. So some similarities we also find are happening within the market of carbon credits. So, and when we talk about so many new business initiatives and ideas, it's always like good signs of regulator to not to interfere in the industry at the very beginning. Let it grow. Let's see where it will go, and only when it's really needed, so the regulators should come and put those borders or give the explanations or definitions that would facilitate the further growth. But not to come with like a regulatory aspects and so many requirements that would strengthen or stop the development. And this is something that I strongly believe as well. And today, when we talk about the carbon credit market, actually we have reached the point already when the harmonized approach, common concept on some of the basic fundamental principles for carbon credit are needed. So the purpose of this document is to provide clarity on the legal nature and private law aspects of the voluntary carbon credits. And I am using this term voluntary carbon credits. However, it is agreed that in future we will use this verified carbon credit definition. So the document, this international legal instrument, which is in the drafting process, will focus only on the proprietary law aspects. And if you look at it, this is the most important. We have to understand what is the nature, what is this carbon credit? Is it a thing? It is something can be regulated. And as already Gustavo told, it's a new asset class. It is today. It was a long time, like 5-6 years ago, we've been discussing also about digital assets. How can we define fungible, not fungible? Is it a thing? Can it be an object of proprietary right? Can I own it? Right? And these are fundamental issues which has to be answered from the legal perspective. Primary focus on the instrument is to facilitate transactions related to the carbon credit and to increase their predictability. And also the purpose is to help national legislators to reshape and modernize existing laws which regulate what is a proprietary right in countries. So the questions to be answered that I mentioned, is it a thing that can be object of proprietary rights? How to address a range of legal issues, including how this thing may be acquired and sold? What rights its owner may assert over this thing? How these will be treated upon insolvency of any market participant, and whether it may be used as a securities. Those are, like, from legal perspective, very important questions to be answered and addressed in the document. Some background already we have mentioned today multiple times. So it's a Kyoto Protocol of 1997. It is Paris Agreement where the countries of the world came together and put particular goals to be reached. And of course, being an international organization, we also are trying to everything to also facilitate to those goals of United Nations Sustainable Development. So key concepts which are already included in the document which is under elaboration. So we have to define which are the main actors involved in all this voluntary carbon credit life cycle. What is the legal nature? What ownership of the VCC? Who can be owners? Who can be custodians of carbon credit? Transferability of the carbon credit, secure transactions and collateralization. So it's very important if you talk about capital market, about primary markets and also secondary market. Can it be like something what we call the
involved in the secure transactions in derivatives, and what could be the main value of that? Because we are talking, a lot also how to combine sustainability, environmental protection, and also earning money. What is the retirement of carbon credits? How can we evaluate and price carbon credits? Accounting, treatment in cases which relate to insolvency, local market regulation oversight. Also very interesting is always a question regarding applicable law and jurisdictions involved in the carbon credit. Today, we can have carbon credit verified and issued in Amazon, in Brazil, but actually it will be used by airlines in Switzerland. And it can be collateralized and maybe used for secure transactions in Tokyo Exchange. So, in these situations, it's always for us lawyers interesting which law and which situation will be applicable. What will happen from legal perspective with every small change of the transaction? Of course, they have to address and look all kinds of specific stakeholders and specific also these sectors of carbon credits where they can be issued. So, who are these people which are involved in this drafting of this legal instrument, and which organizations are represented? Of course, in the draw the institute, so I am representing World Bank. UNCITRAL is also a United Nations private law institution. The Hague Convention, which also deals with the setting up rules of applicable jurisdictions to the private transactions. Asia Development Bank, International Swaps and Derivatives Organization, International Organization of Securities and Emissions, International Emissions Rating Association, and a lot of the academia representatives as well. So legal nature, so registration, issuance, transfer, retirement of the credit, these are separate several stages when we talk about the life cycle of the carbon credits, which have to be regulated. And again, ownership, the part of the proprietary right, collateralization, transactions, applicable law and insolvency. So one more time, these are the key focus areas we are trying to solve in this document. And where to start? After the three very successful working sessions already, so the first recommendation, which is spread it to all the countries to address and look at the national legislation, is the general principle to be recognized. A verified carbon credit can be the subject of proprietary rights. So this is something that should be, implemented in all the countries. Why proprietary rights are so important? Of course, everyone who has a property, like car or house or whatever, we know if we own something, we have range of the rights which we can use. So it can be, it can be part of our succession. We can transfer, we can sell, we can gift it. So we have a lot of the possibilities what we can do with something that we own. At the same time, we have also all the possibilities to use it in a way that it gives us profit, so we can use for business purposes. We can transfer this ownership rights. And at the same time, also, we can write the security right over the VC. It can be used as a collateral if it is needed. And why it is important? Because we try to follow the market of the VCC, what is happening. So, and as today we can see already what is giving that this justifies this intervention of the international organization in this market is because already today we can VCCs can be sold on the open market. It can be sold on the counter, the OTCs market. For some VCCs issued by certain issuers, there are specific types of methodologies which you can use for selling through the separate and designated exchanges. And as I mentioned also, so we have to focus and see the legal regulation applicable in both for the primary market of VCCs and secondary market. Primary, when it's just after the issuance, and secondary market, when we talk about secure transactions, which are usually something similar to derivative market. So this is very fast and short introduction to the very important, I think, also this aspect in order to promote and to put some boundaries how this market can be developed and to come up with an international, not binding legal instrument, because it's not going to be convention. It will be these will be principles, guidance document, which will be actually the main purpose that national legislators can look at this and to see how to adopt and how to transfer some of those rules in existing proprietary rights systems already in each country. And thank you.
Thank you. What fascinating is to see the point of view of a lawyer into all this. I like to say that effectively carbon credits need a clarification on rights, correct? On nature, absolutely. At the same time, there's something that goes along with it, which is accountability. How do we account for this? So if I create and sell or buy carbon credits, in which part of the balance sheet do I put them? Where do I put this, right? So in the last 4 months, I've been called by the big four, myself, just to even opinion, right? They're not asking me to work for them, but they want to understand where do we classify carbon credits. And to be honest, I have no idea.
Yeah, but once people say that this is a thing, so asset, then we can find the answer about how to qualify.
Yeah, but you know, I was an auditor for 10 years, so classifying assets is not an easy thing to do. And it's going to be complex, we will get there. But accounting for that, giving them a legal right, a legal perspective is clear, but accounting them is going to be a bit more complicated because we don't know how to account for cryptocurrencies, by the way. Right? We all talk about cryptocurrency every single day. Ghana as a big company, where do we put them in the balance sheet? They will give you different answers. Anyway, so we're coming to the end of the event. We've done some changes. We're only going to have one more presentation, and then I'm going to send you off for lunch, which you're all waiting for. The presentation is The Right for Education by Ahmed, the host of the event. Ahmed, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gustavo, and thank you, everyone. I would like to first, on behalf of Queen Dr. Susie Doyle, the founder of the Right for Education Foundation, and she's the Queen of Kipota G.P.I in Ghana. And I'm honored and humbled to have been part and on the board of the foundation, a charity registered in Ireland and in Ghana as well. This is just one part of the activities of the foundation, which is Ready Talent. You can go on as well, rightforeducation.org, and you will find in front of you the red sheet that talks about Ready Africa. And Miss Anna Barber here was talking about Africa and the prosperity potential and all the economy and the talents and working together and bringing everyone together. So here we're having a message from Dr. Susie. She's the founder of this foundation. We have different aspects into this foundation, but today we are focusing on the talents and what are or who are ready. It's a pan-African community recognizing the continent's vast potential and untapped pool of talents. We have 8 million members as of now, all highly skilled, and we have dedicated multilingual teams of consultants and researchers on recruitment and immigration, expert recruiters in industries such as education, technology, and healthcare. Also, we are trying to fund or to, and here, when I say fund here, we're not funding it financially, we're funding by the human capital. We are providing highly skilled, trained, and educated talents for different skills. We're currently focusing majorly on healthcare. We're in discussion with a lot of healthcare authorities all over the world to provide highly trained and talented nurses. as well. Africa has millions of bilingual, as we know, we have the English-speaking Africa and the French-speaking Africa, and also there is part which speaks Portuguese, such as Cape Verde and the Lusophone countries. So you have a lot of eager, motivated, hungry, well-educated, and energetic recruitment opportunities from there. You can access 8 million professionals across the entire 40-something African countries that we onboarded up until now. You have 14-day recruitment life cycle, and you have highly skilled consultants and experts on sourcing and recruiting. And we guarantee the satisfaction of your recruitment process and provide replacement within 6 months in case the recruitment is not up to your profile. The industries and the partners that we have recruited for, as you can see, like a dozen of them, almost across all the sectors so far. And this is our wonderful team that I have had the honor to be on their boards, having some meetings and initiating the partnerships and the discussions with the governments, with the public sector, with the private sector all over the world. Please feel free, if you have any kind of questions, to have a free consultation with our amazing William at Ready Africa organization. Please, again, I remind you of the red pamphlet or flyer right in front of you. Please keep it for you or for anyone who might need to tap into this massive pool of talents across the world. Thank you so much, and I hope you will enjoy the lunch.
Okay, so just very quick. We're going to have Patricia to close the event today. She couldn't make it. So what we've done today is just we're learning about ESG as much as we can. There's a lot we don't know yet that we need to learn. We've seen a few companies that show us what they're doing in this environment. And overall, I think we have informed ourselves about something that we should be informed about, because it's coming to us like a train. ESG is going to be everywhere within the next few years. That's Zulfiquar. Completely. It's already here. So thank you very much for your time. For myself, I'm the founder and chairman of Carter Capital. We manage digital assets, completely different part, but Carter Capital is very involved in the Verde Whisper project in the Amazonas. We're trying to use blockchain technology to save the Amazonas, which is a crazy thing. That's what we're trying to do. So thank you very much.
You're involved in 3
Yeah, 3RT as well. Yeah, 3RT as well. Enjoy lunch. Thank you, Ahmed, for giving myself and Alessandra the opportunity to help you out. And I guess the restaurant is called Cara, and it's upstairs. Is that correct? Have a great lunch. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you all. We will all be going there together. We'll assist you with where to go. So hope that you had a wonderful time here and looking forward to having a lunch together. Thank you. Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you.